Hello, I'm Dan Tabor of Falker and Synapse.co, and today I will be reviewing the Alejandro Jodorowsky Blu-ray box set. This is from a new 4K remaster, and this was put out in the US by Opco Films in coordination with Arrow Video over in the UK. So when this was first announced, this was thought to be possibly an Arrow exclusive, like some of these sets are, but it was eventually announced that it was going to be simultaneously released in the US thanks to Opco Films. And here is the box set. This features the lovely photo of Alejandro Jodorowsky as the alchemist from the Holy Mountain. There's 4 films on Blu-ray, individual Blu-ray discs, individual Blu-ray cases, all in this great slipcase. Here you can see you can see the Arrow. It's very Arrow-esque. If you've gotten any of the other Arrow releases, like the Ring set or the House box set, it's very similarly packaged. It's very durable. It's a very hard sort of cardboard. It's got the 4 films, and it's got the list of the special features on the back. It has Fando y Lis, El Topo, The Holy Mountain, Psycho Magic, A Healing Art. So it's very fitting because it's got his first feature-length film. The 2 films that sort of like launched him into like a filmmaker of the world, because before before El Topo, he was Chilean, Mexico, and all that. And El Topo blew up in the US and gained him worldwide recognition. And Psycho Magic, Healing Art, which is his latest film, which kind of almost acts as a bookend to his filmography, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. But all the discs come housed in this great slipcase, and we're going to dig into these right now. The first film in the box set is 1968's Fando y Lis. This was Alejandro's first film. This originally premiered at the Acapulco Film Festival, where it incited a riot, and then it was later banned in Mexico. So this kind of is the beginning of the man, the myth, the legend of Alejandro Jodorowsky. And it's a rat hole unto itself if we wanted to go down that route and talk about how his films have these mythologies around them. Because if you've seen Jodorowsky's Dune, they dig into that hard, but we're not so much here, but we're going to touch on that. So this is his first film. It was based on a play written by one of his friends, because Jodorowsky originally started out doing like theater. He eventually made his transition to film with this, and this was kind of him taking on his friend's piece and adapting it to the silver screen. And I'm going to be honest, I have yet to see this because I tried to watch it on the Anchor Bay box set and it looked terrible. I've already peeked at these transfers, so I can say that this transfer is amazing, and I can't wait to watch this. So keep that in mind. This transfer alone makes this box set worth it because it's like night and day. Like, there's more screen image available in this, and it's transferred from the 16mm negative, so it looks great. So this and the rest of the films on this were restored and transferred in 4K from the original camera negatives, which is also important. Why is this important, you ask? Because depending on what the master is made from is how good the master is going to look and the transfer is going to look. If they were to have done this from like a 35mm print, it would not have the density and the sort of detail that you would get from doing it from the negative. The best sort of comparison is a Criterion disc. Criterion's really well known for doing their transfers from negatives whenever possible. They rarely do like a 35mm transfer from like a release print, unless that's the only thing available. And you can tell the difference. Like, you can take the Pepsi Challenge and watch a Criterion DVD and a Criterion Blu-ray of something that was transferred from the same source, and I doubt if you watched it on anything bigger than like a 50-inch, you could tell the difference. Their DVDs look that good. So, and I mean, that's why DVD kind of got a bad rap, because when DVD came out, a lot of those masters were coming from the Laserdisc masters or the VHS masters, and they were just dumping those on DVD and putting those on disc, and which is why a lot of DVDs look terrible. Like, if you look at some of the newer, later DVDs that were transferred from HD sources or even 4K sources, you'd be like, oh my goodness, these look amazing. You might not even be able to tell the difference if they were DVD or not. So these are all mastered in 4K, so these all look great. the masters. They were clean up, they were restored. Fando y Lis looks stunning. I was working on my screen caps for my comparisons, comparing the Fando y Lis DVD to the Opco Blu-ray to this release. There wasn't an Opco Blu-ray of this one. So comparing this to the DVD is like night and day. There's more resolution, there's more detail, there's more contrast. It's like a totally different film watching it. So Fando y Lis alone is worth the pickup here. Along with the new transfer, you get the original Spanish soundtrack, newly translated English, Spanish, and French subtitles, audio commentary. Jodorowsky remembers Fando y Lis, a new interview filmed in Paris, new film introduction with Richard Pena, professor of film studies at Columbia University, and La Crevette, Jodorowsky's compelling surreal 1957 adaptation of Thomas Mann's The Transposed Heads, which is a short film. And you get Constellation, Jodorowsky, Louis Machette's feature-length documentary featuring interviews with Mobius and Peter Gabriel. And those are both on the Anchor Bay set. So you're going to notice the theme. A lot of the stuff that was on Anchor Bay is also collected here. So it's very much comprehensive and definitive. And that's what they're going for here. You know, it would be nice if maybe they put Tusk out, but that's just me. Almost forgot. Reversible artwork. All the films come with reversible artwork, which is pretty sweet. That's an Arrow thing. Arrow loves doing that. And you get these awesome lobby card reproductions, which the first side is Holy Mountain and the other side is El Topo, highlighting basically some neat scenes from the movie. And I think they're pretty cool. They're definitely a fun ad because, you know. So that is Fando y Lis. Next up is 1970s El Topo, which stars Alejandro Jodorowsky, his son Brontis, and he plays the titular gunfighter El Topo, who is on a journey of spiritual enlightenment. This is an acid western. If you've ever seen an acid western, you kind of know what to expect here. It's very surreal, and given Jodorowsky's already sort of leanings, it's very surreal. Themes of his, like, you know, spirituality start to creep in here, like really intense. The film starts out, it's El Topo and his son, and they're both going on this journey together, and then he leaves his son because he finds a woman, and then his son eventually tracks him down because he wants revenge for him dumping him, and Jodorowsky's, or El Topo's girlfriend, does not work out well for him at all. So it's a great film. It starts the surrealness. It's played the midnight movie sort of circuit in New York, where it garnered the attention of John Lennon, who then got about $1 million invested in his next film, which is really awesome. And it kind of blew him up. Like, after this film, Jodo was a filmmaker of the world, and he could pretty much go anywhere he wanted and make a film, which is great, because this kind of started his ascent in as an artist, I think. El Topo is excellent, and it's definitely a good entry point for Alejandro Jodorowsky, because it's got much more of a narrative, a traditional narrative, than most of his other films, and it's not as sort of, I guess, as bizarre as some of his other stuff, but El Topo is a good sort of entry point. So if you haven't seen any of his films before and you just bought this box set, El Topo is a great place to start. This also comes with the soundtrack as well, so you get El Topo, the soundtrack as well. You get the film mastered in 4K, reversible cover, newly translated subtitles, the audio commentary that was pulled forward. Jodorowsky remembers El Topo, filmed in Paris, new introduction by Richard Pena, a conversation with the son of El Topo, newly filmed extensive interview with Brontis, who stars in El Topo, father of midnight movies, an archival interview, and the CD. So you get all that, and you also get two different aspect ratios. The original El Topo was done, I believe, in 1:37, and when they restored this and they did the new transfer, Jodorowsky actually wanted to reframe it in 1:85. Now, you definitely get more sort of like contrast here in this color palette on this transfer, but in the 1:85 transfer, it's weird because he basically rematted the frame and almost blew it up slightly. So it really focuses in on what Jodo is trying to get you to focus in on the film. So it's definitely a different experience. I peeked at that a little bit when I did my screen caps, and I was like, okay, that adds a little bit of a different dimension to this film, because it's not the big screen, the big sort of wide, sort of almost full screen frame. It's more of a letterbox, and it's definitely different. So that is El Topo, the next film in the box set. Next up is my favorite Alejandro Jodorowsky film, 1973's The Holy Mountain. The Holy Mountain was the film he made with the money he got from John Lennon and a few other folks, thanks to El Topo, and it kind of is his masterpiece as far as I'm concerned. El Topo was good, but Holy Mountain is great. When the first Blu-ray first came out, I would invite my friends or people I knew over to my house, and we would watch The Holy Mountain, and afterwards I would kind of ask them what they thought. Because The Holy Mountain is such a dense and nuanced sort of, people kick around the term visual poem. Holy Mountain is a visual poem on film. I mean, it's about a character named the Thief, who is basically almost Jesus Christ, who runs into the alchemist, played by Alejandro Jodorowsky, who goes on this like journey of spiritual enlightenment, kind of like in El Topo, but in this it's more sort of abstract. And there's a lot of sort of weird concepts going around, because there's like all the different planets have like a representative, and they all band together to go on this journey, and what they discover is this weird sort of meta sort of deconstruction of cinema, which blew my mind the first time I saw it. And I love getting people's reactions when they see it, because it's such an interesting ending, and it's what you don't expect. And Holy Mountain originally screened at the Cannes Film Festival, where, you know, it ruffled a few tail feathers, because it is a very challenging film. Like the symbolism and the visuals, they challenge you. Jodorowsky is challenging the viewer, and that's what I love so much about The Holy Mountain, is how challenging it is, but how rewarding it is at the same time. So this also comes with a new 35mm 4K scan. This film really highlights the one thing that I've noticed on this whole set, and that is on the first Blu-rays, the original, the Holy Mountain and the El Topo, there was a lot of DNR presence, or dynamic noise reduction, where they basically scan in 35mm and they kind of fuzz out the grain a little bit to make it look better. This has got the grain on full display. Like El Topo, you can see that and notice that a little bit. This, you can notice it really well, because there were a couple scenes in the original Blu-ray where you could see that where they were playing with the image and it looked very artificial. This looks very organic and film-like, which I really enjoyed. So Holy Mountain comes with the transfer, the audio commentary from the previous Anchor Bay disc, a newly filmed introduction as well, a new interview with Jodorowsky on The Holy Mountain. You've got the A to Z of The Holy Mountain. You've got deleted scenes, the Tarot, a short film, and you also get the CD, the soundtrack of The Holy Mountain as well, which is win-win. So you get the film and you get the soundtrack. And the soundtrack for The Holy Mountain is pretty darn good. So this is great. And that is The Holy Mountain, my favorite Jodorowsky film. And finally, we have Psychomagic: A Healing Art, which is the latest film by Alejandro Jodorowsky. This came out in 2019, and it would have played the art house circuit, I believe, if not for the whole COVID thing. I think lately it's been screened as part of like the collection. I know Alamo On Demand has all these films, like the masters and the newly remastered 4Ks, and it's all on demand along with Psychomagic, and which you can get separately, but this is kind of helping to promote this. This is almost like a bookend to Alejandro's career, where it touches on his spirituality and how that's influenced his filmography, and how that in turn has influenced his entire life. So I haven't watched it yet. I've been looking forward to this set so I can watch it on Blu-ray, but I mean, it's a documentary about Alejandro Jodorowsky. I can't wait to watch it, and it's a good bookend because it basically touches on all of his filmography, his life, and how his beliefs have influenced all of these things and are a theme through his films. Spirituality is a huge theme through Alejandro Jodorowsky's films, and I can't wait to see some of the because this supposedly digs into more of his like day-to-day life and how that's influenced him. Because I know there's Jodorowsky's Dune, and there's a lot of different documentaries, but this one I've read focuses just on his spirituality and his beliefs in the tarot and all that good stuff. So that is Psychomagic, A Healing Art. There's also a book. The book actually has the picture of the alchemist on the cover, and on the back it has El Topo, and it has various sort of like interviews, essays, and reviews, the original reviews of his film, which I honestly can't wait to read what the original people thought when they first saw these films, because, you know, there's a certain context that you get as you move on in your career, and people sort of add it on to your previous films. But to read like the first reaction to Holy Mountain or El Topo, that's got to be great. So this has got essays, reviews, interviews, all that sort of stuff in it. I don't want to flip through it because last time I did the Midsummer video, I had to fuzz out a bunch of naughty bits. And I mean, there's some pictures of Jodo directing, which there's some cool behind the scenes stuff, but there are some naughty bits in here too, which is fun. But there is some fun behind the scenes stuff too. It's a great book. And there's also a poster. A poster! Like, if all that other stuff wasn't so cool, you get a poster. The poster, of course, is you get the Great Holy Mountain poster with the whole rainbow thing going on it, which is great. One of my favorite like images from the film. And you also get El Topo on the back. I would actually hang this up in my house. I love this poster. I love this image. I've seen like the big French, like, are they French? The big sort of like, you know, subway posters that are like 6 feet of those. And I've always wanted one, but I don't have any place that I could put it in my house, or else I'd probably try and get one. So that is the Alejandro Jodorowsky 4K Blu-ray box set put out in the US by Avco Pictures. It's going for, if you get it on Amazon right now, it's going for about $72. I think it's worth your money if you're a fan of Alejandro. It's a great upgrade. I know for a fact Fando y Lis looks amazing. It looks stunning. What they did with El Topo, you get the 2 different aspect ratios, which is great. And the 4K scans, the new 4K scans are definitely, there's a lot more sort of, they've done something with the color. I mean, Fando y Lis is like a whole different film, but with El Topo, they did the thing with the aspect ratio, but you can definitely tell the flesh tones have been bumped up a little bit, and they also got rid of the DNR, so there's definitely more of a film presence and a film look to them, because they've left the grain in there for people like me who would prefer to see the films as close to the original film look and film intention as humanly possible. So definitely pick that up if you're a fan of Alejandro. If you're still on the fence, I'm going to be doing a full review and a full comparisons so you can see the actual comparisons of the different transfers on the different sets. Thank you for watching. Stay safe and subscribe, like the video, and thank you for reading Synapse, and have a great day.